I feel like if I just woke up in my life, you'd be sitting there.
Think of me as like the crow. I'm just like hanging out with you the entire time. Maybe a raven, nevermore. That's what I'm saying to you every time. Nevermore.
You'd be like, always more.
Always more.
Always more. Quote, the maven. Try Before We Die, the whiskey review show where neither Mal or I know what we're about to drink, but when we find out, we'll tell you what we think.
And I would like to just say, have no clue, but we actually do have a bit of a clue.
Single Malt Scotch Whisky.
Single Malt Scotch Whiskies.
And I guess a further clue would be we do have an awareness of what is in the bar for the most part, but we don't know which one we're going to get after.
Never.
No research in advance.
Zero.
Unless we've researched it on our own prior to, like, oh, that's interesting, and read the bottle, but we don't go into it right now with any preparation.
I certainly don't.
No, neither. It's right. You should know that by now if you've seen more than one of our episodes. And thanks to everybody who tunes in and makes comments. We appreciate it, for real. Here we go. You ready?
Yep.
Randy is going to bring us to of the 400 give or take bottles in this bar to bottle number
5.
5. Mal is going low. I'm going to say bottle 241.
Oof.
304.
You would have won.
First shelf, snooker room. We'll see everybody around the corner. 304. You got here before me. You are clever. So we are after bottle 304. Well, I happen to know that bottle is actually the last bottle on the second to last row, which is this Port Askaig 8-year-old Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky. And what do we know about Port Askaig? Well, we know there is no Port Askaig distillery, but we do know that Port Askaig is actually one of the main ports for ferries and entrance to Islay, which is an island. And there is a lot of speculation that Port Askaig sources much of their whiskey from Colilla, which is the most prolific Islay distillery. So this is an 8-year-old coming in at 45.8% ABV. We'll pay a little more attention to the bottle when we get back to the bar and we talk with Mao, who will be bubbling with excitement for this 8-year-old Port Askaig Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky. We'll see everybody back at the bar.
Before we die with a bearded man and a British guy.
Cute mouth.
We got an Islay. I heard like a porter's head. But Port Askaig?
Tortuga.
Tortuga. Tusker Pirates.
Tortoise head. No. Port Askaig.
Port Askaig.
One of your favorite distilleries.
Without doubt. I follow them closely.
What's the error in what I've just said?
It couldn't be further. What if it is?
Port Askaig is not a distillery, Malcolm.
Oh, that is right. They take from others, which makes so okay. Now I can go back to what I was going to actually ask you to begin with. So how does that work?
Well, you mind if we buy some of that and we'll put it in our own bottle with our own label?
So they let someone
we'll
else
sell you
do
some. Will you give us this much? Well, we'll give you that much, and that's how that works. So some distilleries, many distilleries.
So they're not a distiller then?
No. This is a private labeler. This is just a name on a label that buys their juice
like
from somebody on Islay.
So like Gordon Maffel. But are these like is more specific?
Okay, so like Gordon, let's get this into a bottle. That's a good one.
Yeah.
This is their 8-year-old.
Cool.
Oh.
You could make music with that.
All right. So Mal wants to know, Port Askaig, what's the deal?
Yeah, what is the deal? Why is this like, okay, we're going to get a bottle?
So Mal said like Gordon and MacPhail. And here's the difference.
Okay.
So Gordon and MacPhail, like Caden heads, and I'm looking to see if I can quickly pick out another, there's another Gordon and MacPhail, Caden heads, like many of the IBs will source from many different distilleries and sort of have a unique profile listed. Unnamed Highland, unnamed Speyside, sherry this, bourbon cask that. Port Askaig limits their purchases to Islay region only, and seemingly, though well defended, to one distillery, and then take that spirit, age it, cask it, bottle and deliver it the way they choose, but seemingly only from one distillery. Whereas many of these other IBs will reach out around. A fun fact, I think I have this right. Gordon and MacPhail, is this true? Somebody just announced that they are moving away from their sourcing and moving into the couple of distilleries they own. Right? Because it's getting more and more difficult to get distilleries to sell their raw spirit because the market is so lucrative right now to put it under your own label. So the world of the IB is becoming tighter.
Okay.
Now, Colilla, whom is suspected to be the supplier for Port Askaig, is the most prolific producer on Islay.
Are they the biggest distiller?
So prolific.
I'm not asking that.
Yes, they produce the most spirit. And so they are often considered to be an Islay distillery willing to sell their raw spirit or their recently casked spirit to other folks.
So size-wise, they're the biggest distiller on
production-wise. They produce the most. The biggest employer on Islay in terms of number of people who have a job is
Ardbeg.
I'm going to need you to watch your feet as you cross that because it's I don't want your shoes to get wet.
Bridge.
It's not a stream. It's a
river.
It's not a creek. It's a
brook. Laddie.
Yes.
So Brook Laddie employs most people.
Yes, because they
and these guys in Colilla produces the most.
Colilla produces the most.
Okay.
Brook Laddie is the biggest private employer.
All right.
Because of Brook Laddie's commitment to the old style. There is no knock on Colilla's production method. Just you were asking about size-wise, right? And so there are two different ways you would measure that. And there would be other ways you would measure it too. Who has the most square footage? Who has the most acreage, right? Colilla produces the most. Brook Laddie employs the most. And it is speculated that Port Askaig sources from Colilla. So this is their 8-year-old. Okay, coming in at 45.8. Is that what I said? And you'll recall, we've had the Port Askaig 110.
No, I wouldn't, but okay.
Yes, it was, you will recall that. That was a fun episode to record. What do you see here in an 8-year-old whiskey?
Actually, as an 8-year-old, it's as pale as I would think it would be.
Meaning you don't believe that this has any added color?
No.
I would agree. This is just past clear.
Yeah, there's like a hint of color in there.
Right. I think there's a WTF out there that talks a little bit about moonshine and clear spirits. This is truly just past clear.
Yeah, there's like a hint of color.
There's a hint of color, but it is incredibly light.
More so than I've seen before.
I agree. And we know, what do we know? What do we know if the age statement is 8 years?
Ask me.
I felt like that sentence implied a question mark. What do we know if the age statement is 8 years, Malcolm?
The youngest barrel is going to be 8.
Right. So it could all be 8 years. There could be 10 year, 11 year, 12, 15 year in here. But the lightness of this makes it hard to believe that we're into 12, 15 year being part of this. That I guess I could believe that this is entirely 8-year-old whiskey, just with how light it is.
It is extremely light.
Yeah, and I feel like we're probably in non-chill filtered. Let's just see if there's any evidence for any of this. Oh, right there, aged 8 years, non-chill filtered, and no color added, distilled and bottled in Scotland.
Now, you keep throwing out this non-chill filtered, right?
Mhm.
And I know we've discussed it before. But you really think that you would notice a difference if it was chill filtered?
Okay, so here's the deal. And I am going to do an updated WTF on cork failures. But here's the deal. A lot of the mouthfeel, a lot of the subtle flavors are connected to the oils in the whiskey.
Okay.
Okay? So folks will argue that any filtration inevitably will trap some oils. Because what do they say about oil and water?
Doesn't mix.
Right. So oil is actually, I don't really know anything about science. I know a little bit about science, right? But oil is like a bigger mechanism than water, right? And so there is this separation. So when you filter, the idea is that you may be trapping some oils either on purpose or by accident. Now, they will declare, the Scotch whisky industry, that chill filtration doesn't trap any of the oils and doesn't affect flavor. Somebody else out there will say, yeah, but even if you trapped like 0.005% of the oils, you are impacting, right? And so that's what's going on. And chill filtration, right, is all about folks who choose to cool their whiskey with ice and whether or not that resulting product in your glass becomes cloudy. And the end user being like, oh, what has happened to my drink? Though nothing's happened, right? What it really means is those explosions of oil and minute sediments are sort of brought back to life. And if you chill filter, so I make maple syrup, and so I filter it out, and there is sugar sand, which is sweet and delicious.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Right? But if you don't understand that and you looked at your jar of maple syrup and you saw all this sediment on the bottom, you'd be like, oh, that's gross. Right? And so the layman, the end user, likes a predictable product.
All right.
Okay?
Yep.
Right. So that's what's going on there. So that's why when we see above 46%, we feel like they don't have to worry about chill filtration. And that's why they talk about any sort of filtration impacting flavor. It's about the oils.
Okay.
Right. And so we're going to do an updated WTF on how to rescue whiskey from a cork failure. Our last one is good, but may affect flavor. We're going to fix that. We've done color. One or two clicks past moonshine.
Yes. Very light.
All right. Isla, what are we gonna have on the nose?
C, P, smoke. The worst thing you can ever think about ever sniffing.
Gym socks, old lockers.
Medicinal.
Right. Burned out trailers.
Yes.
Okay, so let's find out. Ooh. Oh.
So if I was to say anything, I'm at the seaside.
Okay. It was punchy. It was punchy.
And I'm at the seaside with a smoldering fire.
It was punchy. It's calming. If I'm thinking about an Islay distillery, I'm not thinking about an Ardbeg. I'm thinking about a Lafroig. I'm thinking about a Colilla. I'm not really thinking about a Bruichladdich because they're unpeated for the most part. I'm not thinking about a Bunnahabhain or Bunnahabhain. We're learning pronunciation, everyone, because many are unpeated, though there are some very darkly peated Bunnahabhains, but I'm not thinking of that.
So now the punch of Lefroy.
Well, see, I'm thinking Lefroy de Colilla.
Nope.
That initial punch that made me,
Nope.
with a little rebel yell there, how I opened that glass.
See, I didn't get, maybe I didn't get what you hit. I did not think it was that friggin' punchy.
It is calming down, but those trapped aromas blew right into me. 8 years old. All right. Would you agree that this is coming across as young?
Yes.
Yep. Anything fruity? Any fruits in here? Maritime, seaweed.
There's like
log.
something.
Medicinal.
Already medicinal.
Okay. I'm just throwing things out there,
Yep,
seeing
medicinal.
what sticks. Throwing pasta on the wall.
But now it's starting to really mellow out. Of that initial
is.
punchiness, maybe more so for you than it was for me.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to really, it's just mellow.
I am nervous, which is the wrong word. I am.
Maybe a hint of vanilla.
I'm like, oh, this is going to be an interesting first taste. If the first taste hits me like the first nosing did. No, I'm not picking up vanilla.
Something sweet, but like our shortbread cookies that we have every so often. There's something there that's just
Malty,
malty.
cereal, grain.
Because now we've lost that.
Okay, so there's something dry.
Yes.
Yes.
We've lost that maritime smoky. And there's something in there that's really intriguing.
All right. Just about enough of this rubbish, but
Oh, wow.
you see it?
Yeah,
Yep, I see it in yours, which made me think about mine.
that's some legs.
Yep. And they're still dropping.
Cheers.
Port Askaig, 45.8, 8%. No, excuse me, 8-year-old. Deceptively easy on the palate, considering the nosing that I had. Something apple, pear, green fruit on top that then moved into a smoky campfire that has been out, but only for a short time, but there's been enough of a breeze that it's blowing away. So a fruity fire. What have you got?
I am going to completely disagree with you. I do appreciate this fruity part of it. There is something there sweet. And when I go back in, but I think this is more of a smoldering, wet fire. And the second way around, less of the wet fire, more of the smoldering fire.
So
And there is something sweet.
something sweet. The fire's been out, but for a short time, and the breeze is blowing it away.
And there is something sweet in the very front of that.
The front is sweet, yes. The fire is secondary. The sweetness lasts because it's almost heavier than the smoke.
Did we say 43?
45.8.
45.8. I don't get really too much beyond maybe the top of my throat right here.
It's not in the chest.
Not in the chest.
Let's see if they can tell us anything. The labeling is so light and the words are faint upon it. Port Askaig. There is no Port Askaig distillery. Wait, we know that. Native spirit, being warmed, rugged landscape, following the... So we have no hints. Oh, nose. We have some hints.
All right.
Okay, nose. Lemon zest with coal smoke
Okay.
and warming barley. Did we just talk a little bit about malt?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Palate. Honeysuckle, licorice, and citrus peel with a coating of dark peat. We agreed. Fruit forward with a smoky
Funky
end.
end.
Yes. Finish. A lingering minerality, green apples, and sooty smoke.
The city smoke I can grab.
I dare say we did a good job.
And I like that honeysuckle.
To the distillery notes,
I like that honeysuckle because that there's something sweet on the very front of this.
especially the green apples, the warming barley, the citrus peel, and the dark peat. We said variants on all those words, right? So that's all present. And again, I teased Malcolm on the bottle pull and I jumped in with the, oh, Mal's favorite in Islay, right? But we've really moved beyond really this like,
Oh,
and been like, I got to try it. I have to try it, right? The Scotch whiskey world is in its production heyday right now, and people have been given liberty, so it seems, to create, because everybody is after some.
and I have like this distal taste in my mouth that just lingers. And what I will say is, having tried these different Islas, this is what I start to think about as an Isla. I appreciate what this drink is doing, but I'm not enjoying it as much as some of the other Islas that we've done where I'm like, wow, this is really, really good. This is almost like, wow, this is what I'm expecting from an Isla. I'm having this feeling of like, do I really like it?
Classic expectation.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Do I really like this? Am I struggling with this? Am I going to enjoy another glass of this? And this one is one of those ones where I'm like, oh.
You know when I'm enjoying, so I brought the dry cookies
Yes.
out, right? Because I think the barley we're experiencing, the malt we're experiencing. I think I'm loving this whiskey. We've been at the campfire. I've been fishing all day. You've been lounging. And, but now it's 40 degrees out. The grass around us is covered in dew and it's getting chilly.
And we're trying to
And one of the wives in our lives has said, hey, guys, you're wearing shorts and flip-flops. We are being warmed with this whiskey.
Actually, that's good. I like
That's when.
I like that. Because that truly, like I said, this is what I think an Isla should be like. This is the experience I would think I would get from an Isla.
That's good.
Hmm.
That cookie, that dryness matches the dryness and the malted barley in here and pairs well with the smoke. Fair?
Agreed.
All right. Port Askaig, the 8-year-old, 45.8%, a classic Isla in many ways, youthful and has a place on a cool night. Let's see what the crew has for us. Well, Mal,
May you live. May you live as long as you want, and never want as long as you live.
And I don't. Appreciate it.
Friendship matters.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
So for,
That's an Islay. It's not
that's for me is
pretentious.
Islay.
It matches the classic region expectations, and at the same time, it's not terribly off-putting. This is a drink that needs to match the environment.
Agreed. And to go to, you always put me in a spot. Space I drink a mouse, not kind of like this. What I like about this, it is so different because it is Islay, and that's what I was expecting.
I like that. This time, it matched the expectation.